Hello everybody, good day to you and welcome back. We got a 2018 Land Rover Discovery. This particular Discovery has 77,981 miles on the clock, and customer states that the AC vents on that side do not blow as cold as the AC vents on this side. Now, a few months ago, I lost one of my thermal meters in a car, and you guys responded by sending me like 20 of these things. So I have a whole pile of thermometers. So I'm just gonna probe each one of these vents with my plethora of thermometers, and we're just gonna see if there is in fact a pressure differential between the left, right, and center. That was not a political joke. Yeah, that one doesn't really go in all the way. There, oh, got it, all right. All right, that one reads so far 92 degrees. This one is 80 something. That's an aircraft thermometer removed before flight. I like it. This one's 80 something. What's the deal with this one? Maybe it's not accurate. Anyway, let's fire up the AC, chill for a minute, and we're gonna see what the difference is on these guys. While this thing is chooching, I think I'm gonna go and fetch the AC machine, and we're gonna plug in and just see what kind of pressures we have on this particular vehicle. So let us pop in the hood. The reason that I'm gonna do that is because oftentimes a temperature differential between the vents is indicative of a low charge level. So we're gonna verify that right about now. And after I get the machine hooked up, we're gonna come back and revisit these thermal meters and just see what the actual vent temp discharge temperature happens to be. All right, let's see what we can discover. Yeah, see what I did there? That was a joke. Supercharged. More horsepower. And I grabbed the wrong machine because this is 1234YF. That's the new environmentally friendly refrigerant. Yeah. Okay, let's go check these temperatures real quick to verify the concern. What do we got? 70, about 75 degrees. This one here, 75 degrees. And this one over here, 100 degrees. All right, yeah, we have a huge pressure differential going on here. Let's go ahead and power this down. I'm going to hook the machine up. We're gonna go ahead and recover the charge inside of here, and we're gonna weigh that out compared to what's supposed to be in it and see if it has a low charge level. Powering on. Next. Oh. Oh, by the way, bit of advice for everybody operating automotive AC machines. When you tighten these down to open up the shraders, just turn them until they stop. That's it. Don't crank them open, don't put torque on them. All that does is wear out the threads in these aluminum housings, and it makes them bind up, and then they get harder and harder and harder to open and close. And we don't want to do that. Connect service ports. This thing never even got, what's it doing? Recover. Do not save. This is basically the same machine as that machine. It just uses different refrigerant and has different hoses on it. Connect service ports, yeah. All right, so this thing is gonna go ahead and recover. Once it recovers, I'll go ahead and vacuum it down. We will weigh the charge, and once I determine if it's low or not, then we can proceed with any additional steps to diagnose this concern. If I do find that it's low, I'll do a quick visual leak check, which won't take long because I can't see anything on this car without taking the front end off. Then we're going to recharge it, reevaluate the temperature, probably throw some UV dye in there, and then ship it, because this guy is waiting and he wants his car back, but he wants it back with cold AC. So that's the plan so far. We shall see. The catch is this machine will not install a charge until it performs a leak down test. If it fails the leak down test, which is a much more stringent test than that particular machine will produce, then it will not charge. So it kind of forces you to fix it. You can't just recharge. All right, the machine is finished. Looking at the placard here, the specified amount is 800 grams of R1234YF refrigerant, and the machine has recovered 240 grams of R1234YF refrigerant. So let's go ahead and proceed. We'll pull this into a vacuum, make it conduct its vacuum test, and then recharge it, and then we'll recheck the temperatures to make sure it's performing as designed. And we would like to leak down test this. Now these things can still have a leak and pass the leak down test. The leak down test just makes sure that there's not a very large leak that's going to almost immediately vent all the refrigerant into the atmosphere. But if there's like a leak on a seal for the compressor, for example, or one of these service ports, perhaps even through like one of the pressure switches, or even a small hole in one of the cores, the machine will not detect that. And the way the machine runs this test is it just pulls it into a vacuum and then holds it at 29.9 inches mercury. I think these are in mercury. Yeah, inches HG, that's mercury. Yeah, so it'll pull it down to 29.9 inches because you can never achieve a perfect vacuum, and it will hold that vacuum for 10 minutes. If the machine detects that it came off of that 29.9, and I don't know what the spec is, it's probably like maybe 0.5 inches mercury or something like that, maybe 1 inch. But if it detects that that level of vacuum has increased, it will go ahead and say, hey, I have a leak, and it'll fail the leak down test. At that point, it will not install a refrigerant charge into the vehicle. Okay, 10 minutes later, it has passed the leak down test. So let's go ahead and install the charge. The thing is though, how does it pass the test when we found a low charge? And that answer is because, loud noises, twice, because there is a leak somewhere, and it is a very, very, very small leak. Probably a seal at the compressor or something like that. 800 kilograms. Sorry, 800 grams. 800 kilos would be rather expensive. Connect both services, or service hoses, yada yada. Okay, it's gonna pull a vacuum again because that's just how the programming is set up in this particular machine. I can't do anything about it. Legislation. So we're gonna do another 5 minutes on this vacuum, and then it will install the refrigerant charge. Be back in a minute. Okay, procedure is complete. We missed the refilling part because I went to lunch and got a sandwich. Anyway, we want to hose compensate. That's just going to add extra refrigerant to compensate for how much refrigerant is actually in the lines. Begin compensating now. It'll just give it a couple little spurts, probably through the low side line. Nope, it's running high side on this machine. Yeah, it's going to give it a couple little extra spurts. And it says we're done, but I'm not disconnecting yet. Let's go see what kind of temperature we get. Shiny blade. Okay, static temp in here is what, 85 degrees? There's that sandwich, 85 degrees, and I can't see that one over there. Probably 85 degrees. So let us starting the engine. Supercharged. Full steam ahead, Captain. Begin cooling now. You gonna go? Here it comes. Alright, and let's check out our pressures on the machine real quick, just to make sure they're coming into line. Outside's creeping up. 300 pounds. Ooh, buddy. Fans running? Yeah. Alright, the fan's on. I can barely see it in there. You guys probably can't see. It's way down. Yeah, fan's on. Alright, we're coming down now. It's circulating. Alright, let's head back inside. See what the thermal meters indicate. So while I'm waiting for this thing to cool down, I pulled up the cost of the 1234 refrigerant at just quick Google search. Not really dialed in specific, But if we look at this new refrigerant, a 10-pound bottle at 1234YF, $579. The individual little cans, the top-off cans you can buy off the store shelves, 45 bucks. And over here in the end, Napa's got like a self-refill kit with a little connector, almost $200. That is insane, considering a 30-pound bottle of 134A used to cost around, I think like $60 to $90 just a couple of years ago. And then they switched over to this new refrigerant and the cost went through the roof. So word of caution to anybody who happens to have a 1234YF refrigerant system, these things are expensive. And you know what really gets me about this is they say that they switched to this 1234YF because it's more environmentally friendly. Yet we can still sell this to the average consumer who doesn't have the checks and balances, so to speak, that machine has. So if you have this particular type of system and it happens to have a leak, you can go to the store, refill it for $200, and then it's going to leak out anyway. There's no built-in programming protection to keep you from filling your own car with this stuff. But if this thing has a small leak, I can't fill it. So I find that to be counterproductive, considering what the stated goals were when they rolled this new type of refrigerant out. The only thing I can think of is it's a huge moneymaker. Now the real thing is on another Google search, they say that 1234YF is it's environmentally friendly and does not damage the ozone layer. But my question is if it's not an ozone depleting refrigerant, then why do I have so many extra steps that are mandatory and built into the machine so I cannot charge the system with a known small leak? One would think that if the leak is small and this is not an ozone depleting gas, then all that extra programming wouldn't be built into it and it wouldn't have all those lockout features. But again, I'm not a legislator. I just fix cars and make videos about it. So, you know, I wouldn't consider myself an expert on the chemical nature of these products, but to me it seems a little counterproductive. Anyway, moving on, let's see what our temperatures look like. I'm going to turn this down so we don't have a bunch of wind in our face here. On our center vent, we're looking just under 50 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale. This vent over here, just over 50 degrees, hope you can see. And the far away vent, what about 52, 54 degrees. So we have seen an improvement out of the system. The pressures are in line, it's now functioning as designed. However, I still think there's a leak somewhere. So what we're going to do is I'm going to throw a little bit of dye in this, just hook the little squirt device up to the low side service port and inject a little bit of dye, and we're going to release this back to the customer, because like I said earlier, he's here waiting on it. As per my normal protocol, I will interject a moment of shameless self-promotion by asking you, the viewer, to scroll down and tap that like button down below, because that button is what lets me and YouTube know that I've done a good job here. And if YouTube thinks that I've done a good job, it is far more likely to recommend my content to other potential viewers. And that's good for me, and that's also good for the other viewers. Again, as always, thank you guys for watching, and most importantly, before you go, I want to wish each and every one of you a great day. See you guys later. Here, let's put those back where they go so they don't get lost. Disconnecting refrigerant hoses now. Come here.